Sairam students, welcome back once again. In this session of English literature, we are going to continue with chapter 30 of your English New Voice textbook, Tremendous Tree. In the previous lecture, we learned about a common problem that is faced by the Delhi residents. And the writer in this story, that is Paro Anand, tells us that water supply or the shortage of water supply in their area is quite common. But later when they discover that it's only their particular C block and that too the 11 houses were facing this problem, they were surprised. They also complained to the water supply authorities. Now let's see what help does these water supply authorities provide to them. Are they able to discover the reason behind this problem? Let's continue and find out. Tremendous Tree. At last, there was only the furthest stretch to investigate. And yes, finally, they managed to unearth the very root of our problem. So at last, after investigating further, the water supply agencies to whom the writer and the other residents of C block complained, finally they managed to unearth. Now, unearth means finally they found something by digging inside the ground. They managed to find out the very root of their problem. The very root. Okay, the very root means the starting point. Okay, the very root, the root from where the problem started. It was an amazing sight to see, and one that I will never forget. A sight which everyone present at the occasion could not help but admire, in spite of the trouble it had caused us all. So when they finally managed to unearth the problem, it was an amazing sight to see. Now the writer has not disclosed as yet what was that sight that was so amazing that she will never forget in her life. Okay, and it was a sight which everyone who was present at the occasion, they could not help but admire. So it was such a sight to see that you can say that it was very admirable. Okay, though that problem has caused a lot of trouble to the residents of these few blocks, these 11 blocks, but still the sight that they witnessed was really admirable. So let's see what was that. The gulmohar that I had mentioned early on thirsted like the rest of us. So the gulmohar tree, I hope students you remember the gulmohar tree which was shining, which was glowing in spite of all the water shortage. It also thirsted. Okay, it also required water like the rest of us, like the rest of the residents, the birds and the other plants and trees. Only this one was no fatalist who stoically bore all hardships. So this tree, okay, the gulmohar tree, the writer reminds us that this gulmohar tree, which was glowing brightly, even it was facing some water problem, but then it was not a fatalist. It was not someone who believed in being powerless. Neither did it accepted the conditions, neither it accepted things the way they were. Okay, it wanted to somehow come out of that problem. So what it did not face the problem just like others. Stoically we already explained it. Stoically means without showing one's feeling, without complaining. Sometimes we keep suffering like the residents. Okay, the residents in this lesson, There was water shortage, and these people were fatalist and they suffered stoically. So that means without complaining they were suffering. They were bearing all the hardships, all the problems. No, it thirsted, so it set out after the water that wouldn't come its way. No, you will say, that's idiotic, and it would be too if I suggested that the tree uprooted itself and went for a merry walk in order to slake its thirst. So, here, see, the writer tells us that it thirsted like the other trees, but then it did not give up. It set out, it started its own journey. Okay, it started its own journey. That does not mean, okay, we'll consider the writer to be idiotic. Okay, we'll think that this writer is talking about, she's giving some senseless talk, but it is nothing like that. It's not like the tree uprooted itself and it started walking. It went on a merry walk in order to quench its thirst or in order to look for water. Then what did this Gulmohar tree do? But that's not what I am suggesting at all. So the writer says, she didn't mean to say that the Gulmohar tree went on a merry walk. Then what did the tree do? Obviously the tree couldn't walk. So what it did so was to send its probing army, its roots, to venture forth and unearth a water source and bring back essential supplies. Dutifully, the roots struck out in the correct direction. So, what does the writer tells us? That we all know the tree couldn't walk. So, what did it do? It sent its probing army. The roots, they are referred as probing army. Probing refers to investigate or explore deeply. So this probing army, that is the roots, they venture forth. They started their journey. So they ventured forth. They means they set out and they dig the earth, and they unearthed a water source. They wanted water. So what they did? They set out on a journey to look for water source so that they can bring this essential supplies and provide nutrition to the trees. So how did they do this? How did the roots do this? They did it dutifully. Okay, dutifully means obediently, feeling as if it's one's responsibility to do it. The roots struck out in the correct direction. So they moved. They started their journey in the right direction. The roots dutifully, they started their course of action in the correct direction. The roots sensed some cool dampness somewhere, so they made for the supply pipe of our lane. Even though I must mention, the tree stood a good distance from our pipes, say 20 to 25 feet away. Now, these roots, the probing army, they sensed, they felt some kind of dampness. When a cloth is wet, okay, not as if water is dripping from it, but when it's wet, but then to a certain extent, if there is a dampness, so there is you can feel that cool dampness when you touch it. So these roots, they sensed some cool dampness somewhere under the ground. They felt this cool dampness, and finally they managed to reach this supply pipe of this lane, of the writer's lane. Even though she has mentioned us, she says that even though this particular tree, it stood at a good distance, it was away from the pipe, it was standing at say 20 to 25 feet away from this pipe. Okay, still its probing army were capable enough to reach, okay, and feel and sense the cool dampness of the pipe. Having got there, however, the roots obviously hit the hard cement of which the pipe was made, but they sensed water in there. So the trees, okay, we understand these trees, they are we feel that they are standing at one place, and I mean, how can they be how can they be interesting? But then, tree, we understand from this point that the tree, to in order to this Gulmohar tree, in order to get water so that it can live, it struggles, it sends its army, okay, so that it can, these roots can bring the nutrition supplies to them, okay, essential supplies to this tree. Now here, having got there, so finally when they reached the pipe, what did the roots do? They obviously hit the hard cement, this pipe, okay, the pipe through which the water is being supplied to the lane, that was made of hard cement. But these roots were smart enough to sense the water. That water is definitely flowing inside this pipe. They sensed the water in there. That they certainly did. And they weren't about to give up the battle that easily either. We all know the Gulmohar tree was no fatalist. No fatalist, okay? So it was not going to suffer like others, and hence it will not give up the battle. So the roots which are part of this Gulmohar tree, they weren't about to give up the battle easily. So they would round the pipe in search of an opening, then round again and round yet again and again and yet again. So we can understand by this words, by this repetition of words, we understand that how much did these roots tried, they went around the pipe, okay, round and round again and yet again, okay, in search of any opening, in search of an opening through which they can get their essential supply, that is water. But there was no opening, nor the barest seepage. So there was no opening, not even a small leakage through which they can get this supply. And yet the water gurgled and flowed so temptingly close, but so far inaccessible. Okay, now there was no opening at all, not the barest seepage, not even a small leakage. And still the roots could sense the water gurgled. The sound of this water could be felt. And it was so tempting because the water was so close to these roots. Okay, but so far they were not, it was still not accessible to the roots. So what did they do? But remember, the tree was no fatalist. It wouldn't let even this seemingly impossible obstacle come between it and its life-saving supply of precious water. So, we all remember the fact which has been specified twice, thrice, that the tree was no fatalist. It would not let it would not it would not let it go. It would not give up easily. So it was not an so this obstacle, it was like an though it wouldn't let even this seemingly impossible obstacle. So this pipe which was made of hard cement, though it was like an obstacle, okay, but then the Gulmohar tree, the roots, okay, the roots of this Gulmohar tree, it did not find as an impossible obstacle that could come between it, that is between the tree and its life-saving supply of precious water. So they will definitely find a way out. The roots developed fine hair-like subroots, finer than the finest of hair. Hair so fine, in fact, that it was able to penetrate into the minute, minuscule means extremely small or tiny, pores of the cement pipe. So now these roots of this Gulmohar tree, they developed fine hair-like subroots. Okay, fine hair-like, they are very, very fine, very thin. Okay, they are hair-like subroots, finer than the finest of hair. So you can understand how fine and how thin it would be. So hair so fine that it was able to penetrate into the minute minuscule pores of the cement pipe. So this cement pipe, which did not have any leakage or any seepage, still this uh, this finest, this hair like subroots, finer than the finest of hair, was able to penetrate into the minute and the very small, extremely tiny pores of the cement pipe, pushing through the wall's thickness until at last they sipped the cool liquid and sent it back to their grateful parent. So it pushed through the wall's thickness until at last they sipped. So finally these subroots, this thin hair-like subroots, they finally pushed themselves through the walls of that thick pipe until they sipped the cool liquid and sent it back to their grateful parent. And finally, they sent this water which they sipped in back to their grateful parent, that is the tree, that is the Gulmohar tree. The hair like roots thrust in and formed a finely meshed sieve that sucked out all the tree needed to grow and glow like the very sun itself. Now, what does it mean? The hair like roots, those sub roots we were talking about, they are, thin, very thin, those hair like roots, they push themselves violently, okay, inside the pipe and formed a finely meshed sieve. Formed a finely meshed sieve means they push themselves just like a sieve. You might have seen a sieve that is used to for separating uh, when you sieve flour, rice flour or wheat flour. When you sieve it, you see it is used for separating the mesh. So these like this they formed a finely meshed sieve, and through those thin holes of this sieve, they sucked out all the tree needed water. Okay, so those thin through the thin pores of the pipe, it sucked out all the water that was needed for the tree to grow and glow just like a sun. Okay, so the Gulmohar tree, the reason why it was glowing, because its fine hair-like roots pushed themselves violently into the into the minute pores of the pipe and sucked out the water that was needed for the tree to grow and glow like a sun. The very residents, water supply officials, and laborers who had made the discovery were all equally awestruck at the determination. So, these residents who were witnessing this sight, the water supply officials and laborers, okay, these were the people who were able to discover the reason why this lane was suffering water shortage. Okay, so they were all awestruck, they were filled with the feelings of fear. At the same time, they wondered, okay, how can a tree, okay, whom they consider to be a thing that is not capable of doing this kind of work, okay, they were awestruck at the determination with which the feat had been planned, with which this achievement, okay, this achievement, feat refers to achievement that requires courage, that requires skill. Okay, so this tree has got all these qualities. That's the reason it was able to achieve this success with all that determination, with all the planning, and finally achieved the aim of securing water for itself. So, and we, which the feat had been planned and achieved by a seemingly brainless organism. So, this entire thing was planned by a tree whom we consider to be a brainless organism. Of course, for the sake of the houses C2 to C12, the mesh of roots had to be cut away from the pipe and water allowed to flow unhindered to reach the residence. But it was all done very ceremoniously with a feeling which must have been of regret. With a feeling which must have been of regret. So the for the sake of the houses, okay, they were facing water shortage, so obviously this problem has to be resolved. So for the sake of this C2 to C12 houses, the mesh of roots, that entire hair like sub roots, that had to be cut away from the pipe. And once this subroots were cut off, once this mesh of roots were cut away from the pipe, water allowed to flow unhindered. Okay, so now there is no hindrance that was taking away water from the pipe. So the water began to flow unhindered without any obstruction, and it finally unhindered to reach the residence. But all this thing was done ceremoniously, very carefully it was done. Okay, and with a feeling which must have been of regret. So it was all done very carefully, though it was a feeling of regret, because how would the tree get water? So the residents, they need to think about this as well. Okay, but in sheer admiration and recognition of its tenacity, the quality of being able to grip something firmly. So this tenacity, now in sheer admiration and recognition of its tenacity, we are referring to the Gulmohar tree's quality of being able to grip something firmly. Okay, grip. So here we, in admiration to that, the residents, what did they do? We all undertook to look after and of course water the golden Gulmohar, and there it still stands to date, years later, a glowing tribute to willpower and determined effort. So here the Gulmohar tree, okay, because of its you know its determination, all the residents over there decided to take care of the Gulmohar tree. They decided to water this golden Gulmohar, and till date, okay, till date means after, even after many years, this glowing tribute, this tree, it was a glowing tribute. It was a tribute. It showed, it taught the residents willpower and determined effort. Okay, the tree gave a strong message that with strong willpower and determination, anything can be achieved in life. Okay, so what we learn from here, that we should not be a fatalist. We should not give up things easily. We should not take the problems. We should not suffer. We should not go through a problem without finding a solution for it. Okay, we should have determination, we should be strong enough, we should develop that willpower to achieve success in life. Even though there may be obstacles, but we need to cross all of them in order to achieve success in life. So on that note, we come to an end of this lesson, and in the next lecture we'll definitely discuss the question answers, the reference to context. Okay, so next lecture we will be discussing the reference to context and a few vocabulary questions. So for now, students, don't forget to click on the home assignment link and complete the same on time. Thank you so much.